Good morning. Today I thought we'd have a little bit of play with acceleration, deceleration, and pausing. Sometimes we value stillness and pausing more than we value, say, acceleration, but acceleration can have its own gifts as well. So then it's putting judgments on, the speed at which we live our lives. And I think it's true that when we look at speed on so many levels, or maybe it's time, I'm not sure exactly the quality, but it's something about time, is that we do live in a very fast paced world. And think about how faster it's gotten since we've gotten internet and Wi-Fi and some of those speeds. Think about how increased that was in the first time we used the internet and called. Well, actually, even before then, when I was a math student in college, university, and I had to dial up the huge computer somewhere to get a program to run. So things have changed a lot in our world. So we're just going to take this quality on in the body a little bit and, check in with ourselves. Sometimes it's useful to do the pausing, to slow down, to really check in with ourselves, but we can still, know ourselves as a speedy thing. Some of us are quite enthusiastic and energetic, and that's quite a positive quality, and we, kind of can lift the energy of the room because we become passionate about what we offer. So I'm just going to back away a little bit. And my apologies for my last video where the music was obviously muted because of Warner Brothers or whoever owned it. And I will need to investigate the free music that we can all use. So I think it's good to just have a little bit of a body warm up. Maybe you have a way that you like to warm up your body, to get comfortable in your body, to move a little bit, to do a little bit of a movement exploration. And remember, just do as much or as little as feels comfortable to you. And just notice what arises for you. You can always stop, you can always pause, you can always engage with another modality like writing and drawing if that serves you. But just, find a way to just start to warm up into your body, whatever that is. Sometimes that whole tactile pattern, that whole touch is very helpful. Sometimes just a little bit of body warm up. And as you begin, you can notice if you accelerate in a movement, like I might want to shake my hand and accelerate, or I might want to slow it down. I might want to accelerate the movement just to get some energy flow into the body, or I might want to slow it down and really take a long breath, a long exhale. I've got to caption it on a cord. Hopefully that won't do anything. So as you're warming up the body, just play with, say, a body part, accelerating and decelerating. Since I don't have a lot of space to play in here, we will gradually put it into more of the body. But, just play with that, accelerate and decelerate. So maybe just find one body part. It can be as simple as a finger, accelerating that finger, and then decelerating it. So that also starts to get us into phrasing. We get into, making shapes in the space. So maybe just take that. I'm going to take my hand now. Take my hand to accelerate. and then decelerate. And so I'm noticing for myself, when I accelerate, it starts to go into more places in my body, and I can feel like I'm moving my energy. When I slow down a bit, I can start to feel more of the ground, more of my strength, more of my power. And when I accelerate, I can start to feel, more joint articulation in the body for me. Although slowing way down can also bring us into very slow articulations in the body. So you can play with that, going back and forth with accelerating and decelerating. And then a useful place always, always, always is to take a pause. So what happens when you take a pause? What do you notice? I can feel my heartbeat that's starting to increase. But I can also feel my blood flow in my body, that I'm warm all over. And I'm just feeling also emotionally delighted at being here to explore something, and also being spontaneous about not having a huge agenda, having a small thing that we're exploring, but not having a huge agenda. So, coming from the pause. So when we go into a pause, we might notice that the movement impulse might change. So if that impulse changes, what's the quality that wants to come out in terms of accelerating or decelerating? Is it that you want to, so for me, I'm sort of in that middle range. It wants to start to move a little bit forward. And we're coming to the end of the year, or depends on which part of the world you're in. We're coming to either the summer solstice, so the longest day, or we're coming into the winter solstice, the slowest or the shortest day. So is it that when we come into the winter, we want to decelerate, come into ourselves, take a pause, really feel the energy of the winter? It's like when the seeds in the trees, even though the trees might look quite dead because the leaves are off, there's a lot of energy down in that root system. And we did grounding recently, so maybe you're going into that place to feel that pause into your root system. But if you're in a climate that it's southern hemisphere and you're going into the longest day of the year, you might feel that quality of celebration that might be accelerating. It might not. It might be the opposite. It might be decelerating and just laying on the beach in the warm sun and just taking in that long day with the sun and really slowing down into the pause. So let yourself just experience what it is for you right now. Is it about taking that pause, or is it about accelerating or decelerating? Something just came up on my computer that I'm closing. Thank you. So wherever you are in the world, it may be really going into that winter. Does it slow you down? Or is it that the cold that inspires you to move and accelerate? So I might want to accelerate if I'm in the winter where it's cold, so I can keep the energy moving in my body and feel really warm inside. So the acceleration will create, that kind of quality. And then the deceleration might be about really indulging in the warmth of the longer days. So there's no one quality fits all or one right way. So now let's just take this a little bit into exploring into space. So I'm just doing a little bit of walking. And as you do a little bit of walking, you might just notice, you know, what your general, you accelerate a lot, or is that only when you're kind of running late, or do you like to really accelerate through your day and, you know, get things accomplished, get things done, check tasks off your list? Or are you of the nature to decelerate, and that helps with your focus, getting your tasks, and you want to take your time with your tasks? And then what happens when you take a pause? You try to be in the screen. So if you take a pause, imagining, you know, how you go through your day. Pauses can be very useful to either keep us on track or change tactics. Maybe we have another task that's more pressing that we need to do, or maybe we have something socially we want to engage with. So we want to have whatever acceleration, deceleration, pausing suits us. And pausing is so wonderful in conversation because it means you're listening and you're present. Sometimes we accelerate because we have so many exciting things to say, and this is my tendency. And sometimes I have to backtrack and decelerate and take a pause and just listen. So this has been a learning for me in my life. You might have other learnings for you around this acceleration and deceleration. So let's just take a few minutes to do a bit of improv with accelerating, decelerating, pausing, and just allow what arises. And again, you can always slow down, you can always sit down, you can always lay down, you can always stop if you need to. So we'll just take a few minutes to play with wherever your body's feeling. Sometimes one body part wants to accelerate and the other one wants to be paused or decelerate. So, you know, just take a minute. For me, it's morning, so I can feel that my body really wants to warm up. It really wants to get all that blood flowing, kind of release sleep and whatever else. For me, you might have something different. You might really want to be in that space of the decelerating. Perhaps it helps you gather your thoughts about what you're needing to do for the day, or maybe you're winding down for the evening. Maybe the deceleration helps you wind down for the evening. You know, the idea is if we can use this a little more consciously, you know, maybe we don't have to have those moments of real overwhelm or collapse or, you know, checking out a bit. So it's something to pay attention to as you go throughout your day. Do I need to accelerate here? Do I need to decelerate? Or do I need to pause? But just allow yourself a little while to play with those qualities. And then if you can begin to slow down and find a pause in this moment of exploration. And again, always feel free to take notes, do some drawing if that helps process. You can journal, you can do a number of different writing techniques. And just notice what arose for you in this exploration. If you want to continue it or talk to me more about it, feel free to message me or comment on the video. At this time of year when we're going into either the longest day or the shortest day, it's nice to take time to notice where we are and what we need to be in at the moment, or do we need to have access to all three of these qualities all the time? Do we sometimes need to accelerate, decelerate? I hate to use, mechanical images because they've been so overused. I mean, you could say it's like a gas pedal, but I am working hard to find, the more, other metaphor image qualities like, things that are in nature, things that we all know. Is it like a storm rolling in with an acceleration, or is it like a gentle breeze that really decelerates and slows down to calmness? So, and it's also a fun exploration to see what our values are. Do we really evaluate accelerate, or do we really evaluate pausing, or do we not do any pausing? So often pausing can just be tuning in, regrouping, deciding if what we're doing right now is what we need to be doing. Do we need to be doing something else? So there's many questions. I have more questions than answers, and that's what improvisation is about, is exploring those possibilities. So thank you for joining me. I might get to another live by the end of the week. I might not, just depends on what's happening in my world. I have family coming in on the weekend, and so we'll be going to pull out a scuba dive next week, so I won't be doing any lives next week. So I'll start them again up in the new year. But thank you for joining me. Have a beautiful sleep, day, evening, wherever you are in the world, whatever time it is now. Many blessings for the winter or the summer solstice.